Today we are going to talk about mobile homes, manufactured homes, and I want to just touch a little bit on some of the pros and cons of owning a mobile home or buying a mobile home or manufactured home, and some of the pros and cons associated with that, and then you can decide if going that route is a good one or bad one for you. But let's have a little discussion about manufactured homes today. We're going to get after it right now. Hi, if this is your first time to the channel, go ahead and subscribe below. Tap the bell so you can be notified every time we talk about anything going on up here in the North Idaho area. Hi, I'm Reed Wilson with Living North Idaho Life, and we come at you every week here from North Idaho talking about some of the different areas in North Idaho, talking about a lot of things real estate, talking about different topics that might affect you or affect what you might be looking to do, whether it's moving to a new place, whether it's a goal or a dream you have. And then, of course, this week, we are talking about manufactured homes. We're going to talk about the pros and cons of mobile and manufactured homes. And we're going to get after that right now. So as you can see this picture here, when people think mobile homes, maybe you're one of them, that this is the thought that a lot of people have about mobile and manufactured home now. And as I've done a little research, I know they've come a very long ways. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and kind of look to see what's happened with them. Is it a good direction for you to go? Is owning a mobile home or manufactured home right for you? Is it going to benefit you, or is it in the end going to kind of bite you on the back end and you're going to be sorry? So let's talk about some of these pros and cons, and let's get after it right now. Okay, let's talk about, first, we're going to just talk about some of the positives. I've got about 5 pros that you would probably consider if you're looking to buy a manufactured home, or maybe why you'd want to buy a manufactured home. So the first one I looked at was affordability. So many of these manufactured homes are, just a lot less than going out and building a home, especially with today's economy. By the time you go out and buy permits and hire, a draftsman or an architect and find a builder and all these types of things, many times the manufactured home is a lot less expensive than something like that. Even if you're just going to go in and buy a traditional home, many times you're able to get into these manufactured homes for the same square footage at a lot lower price per square foot than you would, say, a stick-built home. Now, as I looked around, I made a few calls and I was kind of looking around, and it looked to me like you could actually buy about a 3-bed, 2-bath, 1,400 square foot home, manufactured home, that would start in some cases around that $120,000 range. Now, depending on what you did with it and probably upgrades, I saw that jumped up into that mid-200s, just depending on how you were going to equip it. Now, that doesn't include moving it, doesn't include hooking up power, sewer, gas, all those types of things, electricity that needs to be done. And then also you still have to buy, either you got to go rent a lot or you got to buy a lot. So, or a piece of land. I say lot, but put it on a piece of ground. So that number does come up, but in a lot of cases, though, depending on what you're looking at, it's far more affordable, or maybe a little bit at least more affordable, to jump into a manufactured home than it is the stick built. They're built in a factory setting, allows them for a little more efficient production and lower labor costs. So some of that kind of comes on down to the bottom end. Second one I looked at was faster construction time. Manufactured homes are built in a controlled factory environment, which means they can be built much faster than stick built, which is a major advantage if you're going to have a home built. Even we just did a video on one of our new construction builders here last week, and they are out about 8 months right now. And as I talk to a lot of the other home builders, they are in that 6 to 8 month range by the time they get the permits, by the time they are then able to start pouring the foundation and building. They're a good 6 to 8 months out before you can actually take ownership of that home. Whereas a lot of times these manufactured homes are already built, sitting on a lot somewhere, and it's just a matter of getting it to wherever you're going to live. So, and then if you're going to have something custom built, you're going to be a much longer lead time than that to have something built. We're seeing easily a year's time to get something built from start to finish with a lot of these custom builders. So third one is energy efficient. Depending on the product you're looking at, depending on the home you're looking at, manufactured homes are oftentimes built to strict, efficient energy standards, which can help save money on utility bills. Depending on who your builder is and what they use for insulation and just how they outfit that home could have a bearing on how efficient that home is. Another one we looked at, number 4, is customization options. While not as extensive as a custom build home, boy, they have a lot of options anymore. You're able to pick your flooring, cabinets, what type of, countertops, how you want certain things equipped, paint, a lot of these things you're able to customize now, which just gives you a lot of different options for floor plans, finishes, appliances, all these things to really customize it to make it feel more like home. And so that is certainly something to keep in mind. Probably the last one I was thinking about, lower maintenance costs. So a lot of these manufactured homes are built with durable materials that are often easier to maintain more than a stick-built home, and this can save you money on repairs and upkeep over time. So depending on who the builder is and how cheap or if he was trying to save money, cut corners or whatever that might be, you could potentially see a lot lower maintenance costs and availability because they make so many of these different ones, availability for replacing some of those items, whether it might be siding or maybe it's a cabinet or those types of things. So lower maintenance costs was kind of the last one. So those were 5 reasons why you might consider a manufactured home. All right, let's talk about some of the negatives that might haunt you a little bit, or that maybe you're thinking of, or something that maybe you haven't thought of. A few of the negatives that I want to go over. I got 5 negatives about why a manufactured home may not be the best way for you to go. And so the first one that I wanted to talk about was a perceived lower value. So manufactured homes often have a lower perceived value compared to stick-built homes, and this can impact the resale value and potential equity growth. So I fully believe that a stick-built home, in most cases, a higher percentage cases, is going to create more value than a manufactured home on the same property. So, and some of that is the perceived value. Some of that is maybe because less people want that manufactured home because maybe they got that stigmatism of that first picture we had of the old mobile homes sitting there rusting on the lot. So, some of these manufactured homes now, you can't even tell they're a manufactured home. But a perceived lower value is certainly one of the things that you'd want to keep in mind, because this can impact your resale. This is going to have an effect on some of the marketability of the home. Obviously, the more people, if you're looking to sell your home, the more people you can get into your home, looking at your home, that want to buy your home. Supply and demand, it's going to create a higher price for you. So just something to keep in mind. Now will that home create value? Yes, it most certainly will. In most all cases, I can't say guarantee. There's never any guarantees, but from what I've seen here in my area in all my years of real estate, that the manufactured homes do continue to grow in value. you can create value. And so maybe that is something also that just works for you because you got in a little lower price point that, you're not going to get as high a price point on the other end. So something to keep in mind, that perceived value. The second one I was thinking about, there are some limited customizations. I know we talked about customizations or, with homes on some of the pros, but it can also be a negative because when you go into some of these bigger custom builders, they have a lot of options. There's things they can do. Of course, it all comes down to money, right? For the right price, about anything can be done. So although a lot of these manufactured homes do offer options, they generally are more limited than stick-built homes, which can be customized to your specific needs and preferences. So, a lot of times they just have certain model plans that things have to fit a certain way within the square footage, and because they mass build these, they aren't doing any customization. So something to keep in mind about you may be a little bit limited on what customizations you're going to get to have. Financing challenges is the third one I was thinking about. And now a manufactured home in a park, if it's not attached or been converted to real property by the county, you're going to have some financing options. There are companies that will finance a manufactured home in a park, but that typically comes with a higher cash down and a higher interest rate. So the rates are already high, and so then if you got to go in and have a much higher interest rate, then that is something to keep in mind. And it's going to have to meet certain criteria. It's very hard to get a manufactured home that was built before 1978 because that's when HUD kind of got involved. And so there are HUD standards going forward from there, but you go beyond that, most banks don't want to deal with that and aren't interested in a manufactured home pre-1978, even if it's been turned into real property on land. So to be turned into real property on land means it has to be on a foundation. You can't have the wheels on it, and it's got to meet certain foundation criteria that's been presented by HUD. And so that is something to keep in mind. If you have some thoughts or concerns on that, give me a call, shoot me a text. I'm happy to answer any of those types of questions that you may have. But a manufactured home in a double wide or triple wide is much easier than a single wide to get financing. But you put it on a foundation, on its own land, you own the land, and financing options then become much easier. It will qualify for FHA, it'll qualify for a VA, qualify for conventional. So there are a lot of programs that home will qualify with that extra step. So keep that in mind. You could have some financing challenges. Now, if the home's ever been moved, so you decide, you know what? I don't want to buy a new home, but I like this other property better. We're just going to move our home over that property, and it needs to be refinanced. Most banks will not finance a manufactured home that has been moved more than once. So keep that in mind. Or if you're thinking, hey, I can buy this manufactured home, my neighbor has it on his lot down the road, I'm going to move it to my lot and then I can get it financed. You might have some difficulty. I know VA is one that does do that. There are a few banks that will, but you probably are going to run into some challenges as you do that. Potential stigma. We talked a little bit about that with the values. Some people may still have negative perceptions about manufactured homes, which could impact your ability to sell your home in the future. So when we were talking about marketability or value, a lot of people still have in mind, that very first picture that we showed of that mobile home. They have come a long ways. As you look at these pictures as they're coming up, these homes have, a lot of changes to them. They're beautiful homes. They're well constructed. In some cases, they're better well constructed than a stick-built home. But there still are those stigmas that out there from people that are concerned about a manufactured home. So keep that in mind as you are thinking about purchasing and maybe someday selling. that those may be options. So if you want to talk to me about your thoughts or your plans, and if it's going to be an issue, I'd be more than happy to answer those questions. Me and my team deal with manufactured homes all the time, so it is something we can definitely help you with. The last one I was thinking about is community restrictions. So there are a lot of communities, especially if there are, depends on the CC&Rs, covenants, conditions, restrictions. You know, if you got CCRs in a community and you have an HOA in a community, most communities do not want the manufactured home because their concern is, of course, a lot of these rules were put together back when manufactured homes were not near as nice as they are now, but the perceived stigma of the manufactured homes being built in, you know, somebody that has a $1 million home doesn't want a $300,000 manufactured home coming in next to them and, you know, have an effect on their values. And so you do see a lot of these communities, that these subdivisions where they will restrict any type of manufactured home. You know, they'll have, like I said, the homeowners association rules, zoning laws, CC&Rs, all those types of things. So it can be hard to find a property where you can put that manufactured home. And so that is something also we can help you with. Give us a call, let us know, you know, if this is the road you want to go down. We can help you figure that out and how to get that together. We also have relationships with some of these manufactured home companies. We can certainly recommend a very good company in the area. You know, if you're looking to purchase a manufactured home and you want to be treated right and you want a good quality home, we can certainly help you do that. I hope this was informative. Please, you know, like and comment our video. Let me know if there's something I missed or there's a concern or something that maybe you feel like the public should also know about. But we're hoping you'll get something out of this. And if we can help, give us a call. And we can't wait to see you next week on the next video. Thank you.